They put me up in a nice hotel, so that's very nice. But you know what? No matter how nice a hotel is, the curtains never close all the way. They can... Like, it's not hard enough to sleep in a hotel room knowing they wash that bedspread once every never. And I've seen enough CSI. Those bedspreads, they're like portable fertility clinics, my lord. And with those movies they show in those rooms, oh boy. Those movies are disgusting. Disgusting that they would charge $16.99 for those movies. For 65 minutes. Who can use 65 minutes of those movies? Now I've got 62 minutes to feel ashamed and disgusted with myself. Have you ever driven by one of these things on the side of the highway that tell you how fast you're going? Do you even pay attention to them anymore? I don't, because I actually found a similar gadget in my dashboard. Yeah. I don't need a second opinion, but thanks. Thanks. I'm gonna go with my onboard speed telling machine for now, but thanks for the heads up. Some people slow down at those things. You don't have to slow down. Don't slow down. It's just a sign. It's just a sign. It can't chase you. I don't slow. You think I slow? Look at me. Do you think I don't slow down. I speed up and set the high score. So I'm very tall. I'm 6'6". Yeah, it's nothing to applaud for. It's just genetic. I don't mind when people ask me how tall I am. That doesn't bother me at all. What I don't like, they usually have follow-up questions. How tall are your parents? How tall am I? What are you doing, a project? And that's also where it gets weird because my parents are not tall. My dad is 5'7". My mom is 5'3". When people find that out, they always say the same thing I always say. How tall is the milkman? Milkman, that's funny. Yeah, milkman. Really? Milkman? What year is this? Anybody here had dairy delivered in the past 60 years? No? No, but I appreciate you questioning my mom's fidelity. Yeah. Thanks for calling my mom a whore. That's a charming icebreaker. Thank you very much. At this point, I just go along with it. I'm like, yeah, my mom was with the milkman. What are you going to do? That's her thing. Yeah. Yeah, she only dates guys with occupations that no longer exist. Yeah, that's her thing. Yeah. She dated the milkman for a while. Before that, she was involved with the cobbler for a piece, the chimney sweep, chim chim chiroo, the town crier, hear ye, hear ye. She dated the blacksmith for a fortnight, just a fortnight. She even dated the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? Yes. So I'm a Jewish guy. Okay, very good. I admire your Christmas. Non-Jewish people. That's pretty arrogant when you think about it, that we call everybody else non-Jewish. There's like 80 of us. And we have the audacity to be like, yeah, all the other non-Jews, the 12 billion or so non-Jews. But we have 8 days. That's how we tried to take on Christmas, by having 8 days of Hanukkah. But then the Christian people couldn't even let us have that. They were like, oh, really? 8 days of Hanukkah? Screw you. 12 days of Christmas. We're very proud people, Jewish people. Jewish people are sort of like Canadians in America. We always have to tell you who else is Jewish. Just like Canadians, who else is Canadian? Well, Bryan Adams is Canadian, you know, and we do that too. Like Jesus was Jewish. And yeah, that was a really bad trade on our part. We shouldn't have let him go. That was a bad move. We're still paying for that. But the man who invented the birth control pill, Jewish. That's a pretty impressive invention. We just call it the pill. And everybody knows what I'm talking about if I say the pill. That's impressive. I gave you the and a noun. Everybody's on board. Not one person saying, ibuprofen? No. Everybody knows I'm talking about the birth control pill. That's impressive. It also tells where our priorities are as a society. That's the pill. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of pills, but that's the pill. there's a pill that keeps you from getting polio. That's not the pill. And the polio vaccine, also invented by a Jew, Dr. Jonas Salk. And also, you know what else we invented? Saturdays off. We started that. We started Saturdays off. Yeah, outstanding. We all take a Saturday off, yeah. So listen, I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm not proselytizing up here, but you know what would be nice? Maybe the next time you're lying in bed on a Saturday morning having unprotected sex with legs that aren't crippled from polio. Maybe if you could look into your lover's eyes and say, thank God for the Jews, huh? Thanks very much, everybody. I had a great time. Thank you. So check your glove compartment, check the owner's manual. It'll tell you to change the oil every 6,000, even 12,000 miles, unless you do an ungodly amount of stop and start driving. Now the question becomes, how much stop and start driving? Well, here's the other question. This will determine whether you need to change your oil every 3,000 miles. Look in the mirror and ask yourself this. Am I the ice cream man? If the answer is yes, change your oil every 3,000 miles. If the answer is no, change it every 6,000, 12,000 miles. Sometimes the answer is going to be, I'm not really sure. So I developed a quiz, and you'll be able to determine a yes answer to any of these questions means you are the ice cream man. Okay, one. When I'm at work, is Yankee Doodle Dandy playing in a loop all day long, driving me insane? Number 2, do I have a recurring nightmare that it's July 4th and I'm all out of those red, white, and blue rocket pops? And number 3, do I have a disturbing level of access to little kids for a guy who drives a van filled with candy? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're the ice cream man. And you should change your oil every 3,000 miles. Otherwise, change it every 6,000, 12,000, and you will save money and time. Time? They changed my oil in a jiffy. No argument here. They do change your oil in a jiffy. Then they take the rest of the afternoon to print out your receipt using the oldest printer on the planet. That dot matrix Commodore 64. And then that kid has to slowly, with his filthy, filthy hands, he has to remove the sides, painstakingly tear off the holy sides. I'm like, no, just leave them on there. I'm going to put it into my 45-ring binder. You're wasting my time. Ever been there when he runs out of paper? That happened to me once, and all of a sudden he got this look on his face. I was like, what's wrong? He says, well, it's just I ran out of paper. So, well, it's just, I have to go back in time. Because they don't make that anymore. Well, I grew up in the 1980s. It was a great time. It was a grand time. And I love the 80s. I love the 80s. But I love the 80s. That show on VH1, my God. Because they're so mean. They make fun of everything that I loved from the 80s. They always make fun of Hammer. How dare you make fun of MC Hammer? How dare you? Hammer was huge. Hammer was bigger than anybody. Now, Hammer was bigger than Usher and 50 Cent. He was huge. In fact, there's not a person in this room born between 1965 and 1985 who hears the word stop and doesn't immediately think, a Hammer time. You either think Hammer time or collaborate and listen. That's impressive. That's impressive. Stop, very common word, and you either think of MC Hammer or the Iceman, Vanilla Ice. And they always make fun of Vanilla Ice on VH1, and I'm sick of it. Vanilla Ice was awesome. He was awesome, and all right, he hasn't had a hit in a while, fine. And he hasn't had the acting career of the Ice's Tea and Cube, no. But I'll tell you what he did do. He did put a lot of 8th grade asses on the 8th grade dance floor, also known as the cafeteria, and for that, I say thank you, Vanilla Ice. I don't make fun of him. I don't make fun of his hair because he had a high top fade back then.
A lot of people had. You know who else had a high top fade back then? Gary Gulman had a high top fade back then. And it worked out very well for me. I made out with 6 girls 11th grade. That was a ton back then. And who's happy with their haircut from a long time ago? Nobody. Nobody. You never go to your barber with your high school yearbook photo. Please make me look like this again. Please. No, seriously, it's easy. Just cut off all the hair in the back except for a long rat tail. Then shave my sideburns right up to my temples. Perfect. Then 2 racing stripes that come together in the back into a lightning bolt with my high school football uniform and the number in the middle. We'll be good to go. And then what drives me crazy is that they say they didn't even like the song. They're like, I didn't even like Ice Ice Baby. I didn't like Ice Ice. What? Liars! Of course you liked Ice Ice Baby. Everybody loved that song. And I contend that they still love that song. I bet you when they're alone in their car, to this day, when they're rolling in their 5.0, with the rag top down so their hair can blow, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they hear, dun 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 dun. They turn up the volume and pray it's not Bowie's Under Pressure.